Well, thanks for staying with us as we walk through this very important conversation. And I want to get into the grid women can use to evaluate their future spouse and also evaluate themselves as a future spouse to a man. In Finding Mr. Right, the women get to look at themselves throughout the course as well, which is just as helpful as looking at him. So let's begin. Spiritually, do they seek Christ most days? And do they seek him as a person? Do they read his word most days and can readily tell you something they've learned from the Bible lately? That's a great thing to know because you're going to be depending on them being spiritually mature and for yourself to be mature. Their character and their beliefs and their behavior line up. In other words, if they believe something, they behave something. They have a mentor or accountability person that they're being discipled in, they're growing. And this is helpful. They are serving in some way. This is all spiritual. They are serving in some way. Men who serve make better husbands than men who want to be fed. Now, let me say that again. The guy sitting in the pew is different from the guy who's organizing, getting things done, helping people, praying for people. They're two different types, okay? They're adding value to others. They pray with you without being asked. That's a spiritual strong person, what I just outlined. Now let's talk about the spiritual weaker person. Jesus, to them, is a 911 person, okay? They call upon the name of the Lord when they get in trouble. That is a sign of spiritual weakness. And they can see Jesus as an it as opposed to a person. That's very, very important. They rarely read the word unless prompted by others. And if you have a man who needs to be prompted to read the word of God, you should be concerned about that because you're going to be depending on them knowing the word of God to help make decisions. They have limited Bible knowledge. This is a spiritually weak person. Some of their beliefs or behaviors would appear not to be biblical, okay? Especially if they're pressuring you for a physical relationship. They don't serve anywhere. Spiritually weak people don't serve. They just want to be fed, like babies, okay? They might not go to church or not be very involved. Their friends are mostly not spiritual. That should tell you something. And they rarely initiate spiritual activities with you as the woman. Now, that's the difference between a spiritually strong man and a spiritually weaker man, and a spiritually strong woman and a spiritually weaker woman. And you can see who you are. And this is really helpful for us to look at while we go through dating, because we want to be spiritually strong as we move through the process. Let's talk about physical. This is easy. Physical strong person, they exercise in some way regularly. They generally eat well. They value their health. They see their body as a temple of God. Not overly so, but they generally have a good health attitude, and preserving their health is really important. The physically weaker person rarely exercises, eats poorly. They don't value health, which that can be very expensive in the future. They don't have a spiritual belief about their body or responsibility to their body. They're reactive to health, like they'll take care of something if something breaks, right? They are much more prone to long-term disease. So you want to just be aware of that for yourself and for them. Emotionally strong. He allows you to express your feelings. He doesn't need to fix your feelings. And he can express his own feelings. His level of empathy towards you, that's a really healthy sign emotionally. He can ask you about your feelings, especially if he picks up that you're in pain or that you're processing something, he's sensitive to that, is willing to share feelings regularly. It's not a pooling process. It's a mutual sharing process. An emotionally weaker person, man or woman, you don't feel emotionally heard by them. It feels like when you share feelings, they go away, 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 away. And that's not healthy. He needs to correct or tell you what you should feel. That's not emotionally healthy. He tunes you out or calls you emotional when you have feelings. He is challenged to share his feelings with you. It's hard. I got a whole book called Emotional Fitness. He can get better, or you can get better, but it's hard, okay? You don't experience empathy when you are emotionally vulnerable. He's unwilling to grow emotionally. That's a girl thing. No. Jesus had feelings. Most people, not just men, have no emotional training. So definitely, if that's a weakness for him or for you, get the book Emotional Fitness, and it's on the website. You can do that. Now, I'm talking about some of the major areas, okay? I talked about the spiritual, which is really, that's so important. Who they run to when things get rough is something you need to know in dating. Because they're running to the world. If they're running to alcohol, if they're running to something on the internet, if they're running to secular friends, you are in a situation you need to consider. Emotionally, now I am more fair here because men don't get trained emotionally and neither do women. Just because you can share a feeling doesn't make you emotionally intelligent. To be able to know your feelings and switch your feelings and be able to open your heart, this is so important. And also, the physical part, that's something to really consider. Even at my age, okay, which I'm not disclosing, but it's over 50, I still stay physically in shape and work out several times a week because I believe my God deserves me to have a healthy body. I believe that my wife, Joni, deserves me to have a healthy body, and that I deserve to have a healthy body because I want to be around for my grandkids and I want to play with them. I want to run with them, and I want to be able to do that. So I stretch and I work out. We want to be physically in tune, and we want to eat good so that we're not destroying God's will for our life, which is to have a healthy body. His will is that we be healthy. So we need to work with the process. And it's so important we look at these major areas because as we evaluate ourselves, are we growing in these areas? And anyone watching, you can marry 50 years and you get something out of this. If you need to tune something up, I want you to tune it up so that you can be a better example, all right? And when we come back, I'm going to continue to share the grid with you. So I want you to stay with us, and I want you to share these programs with women you know, because there are so many women in the church, and most may not be watching this show, but you can find the link on our website and just send the link to them, because we need to get the word out that there is a way to help you find Mr. Right. There is a grid you can look at to evaluate yourself and them. Because in dating, if you're weak in an area, that's okay. You want to kind of strengthen that up so that you are more holistically strong in the process, because that's a great time to mature before you take on marriage. Okay, you're still going to mature after marriage, but don't make it harder for them, okay? Do it for you.
For more content and resources to help in your healing journey with Christ, make sure to follow Dr. Doug Weiss on Facebook and Instagram. If you'd like to share full episodes of this show with friends and family, subscribe to Healing Time Ministries on YouTube, and feel free to leave us a comment on any of Dr. Doug's social media platforms. Our team would love to hear your feedback and learn how Healing Time is impacting your life, your church, and your ministry.